position with the team?
Stephanie Wheeler, head coach.
Mary Wagstaff, co-team captain.
Morgan McCammon, co-team captain.
All right, we appreciate you all taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us. I'll have a couple of questions to start out. My broadcast partner, Alex Booth, will have that as well, and several other of our media crew will have some questions for you. So we'll start out with you, Coach Wheeler, on this. What is your assessment of your team at this point of the season heading into nationals?
I think we're in a really good place. I've really liked our improvement, I would say, over the last 2 months in a lot of areas that we've been looking at both offensively and defensively. So, I think everybody wants to peak at their national championship tournament. So I am pretty confident that we're in position to be ready to play our best basketball this weekend.
And Marlon Morgan, if you have any thoughts on what your assessment of the team is as well.
Okay. I am really excited about where the team is right now. Obviously, like Steph said, we want to peak at this time of year. And Mary Wagstaff was peaking in practice on Tuesday. So it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I'd agree. Just like having like everyone perform at their best level like we've been seeing in practice these days, and just putting it all out on the court to show everyone what we got.
Coach, I want to ask you, because I'm pursuing my PhD right now, Communication and Information Sciences. In your case, you're pursuing Cultural Kinesiology PhD. How do you balance all of it with going to nationals, managing a team, and having to meet the high standard that is with Illinois?
Yeah, well, it is a blend, maybe not a balance. There's obviously certain points of the year where you can put more focus into certain aspects of what we do. Obviously, right now, it's all in on the coaching piece. In a few weeks, it could be more in on the academic pursuits, more non-traditional student. But, I think for me personally, and one of the values of our team is just we want to have holistic student athletes and holistic folks in our program. And so I think, honestly, my academic pursuits, my other pursuits off the court, they allow me to, be a well-rounded human being and do things that kind of separate my identity as a coach from just being a human being. And so I actually think it's a really good thing because it allows me to take a step away sometimes and not get so much of myself and my self-worth wrapped up in what happens on the court, knowing that, this is basketball and we love this game and it's a really important thing. We put everything we have into it, and it's also an opportunity to create perspective on, while this is amazing and we love playing, but it's not the only thing that's important to us. And so no matter what happens, you win, you lose, you play well, you don't play well, you can feel it for a little while, and then you get to go on and do the other things in your life that fulfill you and make you happy and make you whole and make you who you are. So that's probably why I've taken so much time on it, is because I maybe need something else to help keep me balanced. But that's what it does for me. It allows me to take a step outside of coaching and remember that, who I'm as a person is far more important than any kind of result that happens on the court.
Now, Morgan, certainly you're not pursuing a PhD right now, but any level of collegiate degree that is being pursued, it's challenging as it is already with academic standards. But what have you found your experience has been with being a student athlete in balancing, especially because junior, senior year is usually when it's ramping up on the course load. So what has that experience been like for you in trying to balance the high standard that's with your program, not just on an academic side, but an athletic side?
Absolutely. This year and this semester specifically has been the most rigorous for me in my career thus far. And the biggest part of getting through that is just that I have a great support team. Obviously, I have a great example in future Dr. Stephanie Wheeler here, who balances an insane amount of balls. And we just have a really good support within the girls and within the team, that when we're all stressed and we're all doing stuff, it's like we're doing it together. We're getting through it. We're all in the same kind of life experience right now. So it's really nice to have other people around you that understand exactly what you're going through, and we can just support each other.
Mm-hmm. Now, Mary, not everybody has their sister to join alongside them with their not just their collegiate career, but also their athletic career. What has that experience been like for you in having your sibling by your side through this process?
It's really helped us, I think both of us compete at a higher level, because our whole family is very competitive, and having Marley there every day has pushed me to be better every day, because I have a really good example. She's been in the sport for so long and I haven't been. So just seeing her excel made me want to achieve my higher goals, and I think that has really transferred over.
Coach, certainly there are some programs, especially in the intercollegiate or wheelchair basketball scene, that don't have the privilege of having assistant coaches or support staff or graduate assistants in those regards. And you certainly got 3 assistants that can help you through the process. So I'm interested to know, what has it meant to you to have assistance from Coach Poland, your volunteer coach, and Ranley Clayton, as well as Daniel Luna? What has it meant to you to be able to have that support staff?
Oh, it's been, I'm not sure I can find it invaluable for us. It took us a long time to get to a point where we could have a full-time assistant coach within our program. You're right. It's absolutely a privilege to be able to have that. And so to be able to, I think, one, mentor new coaches coming into the space has just been an amazing opportunity, because I had the opportunity to be mentored by some pretty amazing coaches. And then just in practice, to take some of the workload, I guess, right? And to be able to know and trust that I don't have to be, on top of everything every day. I don't have to be with every single student athlete every day, that I have assistant coaches who can give valuable feedback as well and contribute to the team in that way. It's just been absolutely invaluable. And then with bringing Ranley on board this year, we were fortunate enough to receive a grant from the Women's Sports Foundation, the Tara Vanderveer coaching grant. And what that grant does is basically support young women who want to get into coaching. And so we were awarded one of those. And so it's been really cool to have Ranley on board. She kind of got thrown into the fire. Usually that volunteer position is sort of, you sit back, you watch, but Ranley has jumped right in, and I think has really been an invaluable part of our staff as well. I think for me, I see a lot of the things that we need to fix on court, and Ranley does a really good job of reminding what the student athletes' strengths are and what they're doing really well. So, Ranley's been awesome. And then, Dania is our director of operations, and I always joke with our bus driver, like, you have to go through Dania to get to me. But that's just what Dania provides. She takes that extra level of stress off of me as a coach to plan everything, make sure our student athletes have meals, make sure they have everything that they need to where I can focus on coaching. And I think that's what a great staff does, is it allows everybody to play into their strengths and to be able to do the things they do really well so that everybody can be successul.
Morgan, one of the things that we've heard throughout the entire year of our coverage is that recruiting is a huge part of this process, and especially in the wheelchair basketball scene, trying to find the right program and which is the right fit. Was there a particular moment, if any, for you of where you felt that Illinois is where I belong?
Absolutely. I had one of my juniors, not coaches, but in the program back home, knew Steph and got me in contact with her. And there was a phone call that her and I had together that it was the first time that we had ever talked, but I just knew, I was like, I fit with this coach, I fit in this program, this is where I belong, and this is going to be really good for me.
Mary, was there any split decision between you and your sister? Like, was there any argument, or was it a unanimous, we belong here?
Marley came here our freshman year, and I was back home in Utah, and then I just decided, I was like, I'm out here with you. So it was just like a sister's there, that's where I'm going, so yeah.
Absolutely. And last thing I'll ask to each of you, certainly going into this tournament, you get to know the seeds ahead of time. You know what kind of matchup you're going to have. What are you most preparing for in your upcoming quarterfinal matchup?
I think offensively, we're really looking at how we create space, how we play in space, how we understand what's going to be the next read on offense. I think we've put a lot of time into that, probably over the last month and a half offensively, just really being detailed. Defensively, I'll stick with detailed. Understanding matchups, understanding where you want people to shoot from or who you want to shoot. And I think, as a coach, I like to focus on the details. And so I think if we look at going into this weekend, it's the details. It's the small refinements. There's nothing big, nothing we're going to change going into this weekend. And so it's refining what we're already doing really well, and then making some little tweaks on things that we're not doing well right now.
Absolutely. It's focusing on our strengths and knowing what we do really together really well. Space on offense has been the theme of the past month. We've talked about it a lot. So we're going to do a great job creating space tomorrow. We better. But we will. And I'm really excited to play with these girls for one last time. It's always special to play with this group of ladies, but it's really special knowing that this is the last time that we're going to get to do it together. So I'm really excited.
They laid it all out there. Like defense, I would say just being aggressive, like playing our defense, like Illinois basketball defense, and that's all I had to say about it.
So I actually thought of one more before I'll hand it off to the rest of my crew. So, Coach, certainly the University of Illinois has a rich history in adapted athletics, and tracing back for several decades, even well before the intercollegiate divisions was established for men's and women. So, with the amount of years you've been with the program and seeing it evolve and trying to build your own winning culture, what has it meant to you? Not just for the program to put their trust in you to lead it as the head coach, but for you to continue to try and build success?
It means everything. I'm an alumni of this program, and the decision to go to the University of Illinois changed my life. It changed the complete trajectory of everything I was able to do after that. And so to be the one sort of entrusted with carrying on that tradition, it's heavy and it's exciting. You want to make sure that you're doing everything that you possibly can to, and I wouldn't even just say it's a winning tradition and culture. It's a culture of excellence in everything that we do, academically, athletically. The young men and women that come out of our program and go on to do really amazing things once they leave. And so it's ensuring that we're evolving in that way. What made someone successful 20 years ago when I was playing is not the same thing that makes a student athlete successful now, and that's important to remember, and to continue to evolve our program in that way and ensure that we're creating the best environment for our student athletes to grow in all aspects of their lives. So I'm grateful that our administration has put their confidence and trust in me, and I'm hoping that I'm living up to their expectations.
Absolutely. Alex?
Hey, Coach. I just want to ask you about last season. You were here, obviously, at the Nationals tournament in Strand-Harden Arena. Suffered a heartbreaking double overtime loss to UTA in the semifinals. Just what was that experience like? Because I've been following wheelchair basketball a few years now. That was probably still the best game I've ever watched.
It was an amazing game. I think, obviously the result of that game is tough, right? But I think when you come to a national championship tournament, like we said before, you want to be playing at your best. And I thought that game last year was the absolute best we had played all season. And every game with us in UTA is tight. And so to be able to come out at that moment in time and, be at your best when your best is required of you, it's everything we could have asked for. Would it have been nice to win? 100%. But I couldn't have asked more of particularly these two and our team out there last year to just keep battling, keep fighting. We were down, 7 or 10 points at one point in time in that game, and then battled back and took it to overtime. So I think we learned how we could fight together and know that just because we're down a little bit doesn't mean that we're out of anything, and that we have to keep playing to the end. I know that sounds cliche, but you just have to keep playing. You don't know what's going to happen.
And Mary and Morgan, both y'all played in that game. Can you just talk about the experience that might help you out here in this tournament, knowing that it's not technically single elimination, but single elimination in terms of getting to that national championship goal?
I don't know. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
That was one of the best games that I've ever been a part of, and just knowing that we do have that grit and we have that determination to stay with them is gonna help us a lot in this tournament, because it applies still. Just being gritty and just going through it, and going through it with your teammates is one of the best experiences you can have. So just using that and just knowing people have your back.
Absolutely. Any game that we play in, I feel like we use everything going forward and what we learn. And that was obviously a really valuable game because it was really close and we got to see a lot of what our strengths and weaknesses were. Now it's an entirely new season, entirely new year. So I won't say I'm dwelling on that game in the slightest, but I know that we definitely have the ability to compete.
And Coach, obviously you want to be playing your best basketball at this time of the year. How have you kind of seen your team grow just from the start of the season up until now?
Oh, massive growth. Massive growth. I think first just in people and who they are as human beings, that directly influences what we're able to do on court. So I think their ability to be able to be resilient and to understand that one bad play doesn't define a game, and one bad play or one bad game doesn't define a season or a career, has been a huge area of growth for us this year. And understanding that, if we're going to do anything special this year, it's going to be together. And so in those two areas, the resiliency piece and then how we trust and play together has probably been the biggest places that we've grown. You don't see any growth on the court from a technical and tactical perspective without having those two aspects present. So I'm really excited to see just kind of the final touch on that this weekend and how we can play together and know that nothing's going to be easy this weekend. We're going to have to fight and battle for everything, and just embracing that and being willing to do it and knowing that it's going to be special because we get a chance to do that.
And Mary and Morgan, both of y'all being co-captains of the team, just how have you seen kind of the locker room gel together as the season's gone along?
Do you want to go? We mess around a lot. Like, there's times that we're sitting in circle just talking like about random stuff that has nothing to do with basketball. So it's just like getting to know each other like on a personal level and not just like on a basketball level, because that's very important when you go into games. Like, because that brings an extra like piece of trust. Like, yeah, you can trust your teammates like basketball wise because you know they're good. They're here because they're good at basketball. But knowing them on a personal level really brings in like the extra like piece of trust that like you can't, like, it's invaluable. You can't like replace that with anything.
Like Coach Stefflitz was saying, this has been a big year of personal growth for us. I know Mary and I have grown a lot as leaders, and it's a different position than we've ever been in on this team, I think. And we got a lot of new personnel. We had 4 new girls come in, so the makeup and dynamic of our team changed a lot, but it's really evolved over the past couple months, and we've grown together, and having all of like the trips and the bonding and all of that really brought us together. And now I can say we like each other on the court, but we also like each other as people.
Of course. Coach, you have City University of New York as your quarterfinal matchup here. Obviously, they're new getting into the collegiate wheelchair basketball scene. Just what is it about that matchup that makes them such an intriguing team?
I think it is because they're new, and this is, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is their first time at nationals.
Yes, it is.
And I think that's always an exciting thing for a team to come in, and you know that like you let it fly. We always talk about like when you play at nationals, you just let it fly, and I think coming in at your first national championship tournament, it's exciting, and so they're going to bring that excitement with them, and I think that energy can push you to playing at your best, right? That excitement can push you to playing at your best. So I think we have to like just play our game and focus on ourselves and do the things that we've been working on and kind of not let anything else sort of disturb us. But there's certainly a team that we've played them before this season, and they've got some really neat pieces that they're building there. And I think that's exciting to watch from our perspective, and to see a new team coming in and get a chance to play them here at Nationals.
And just watching your team play, it always seems like y'all come out of the gate with a bunch of energy. Is that kind of a point of emphasis you kind of hit on pregame, just to make sure we start the game with the high level of energy, come out and kind of make a statement to enter the game?
Yeah, I mean, that's an everyday thing for us at practice. Like, it's not something that we talk about. We can't turn that on for a game. Mm-hmm. That's something that you have to do every single day. And so it's a point of emphasis every single day and every single time we're on the court. So it's making sure we take that and translate it into games as well.
And going back to the players here, both of y'all being co-captains, what do you see your role being on the court, just leading your team throughout the game? How do you are you able to go through the game and kind of keep that calm head and levelness while also making sure you're staying competitive at the same time?
That is a huge part of what I think my role is this year, is keeping it calm, cool, collected, and we all take turns in our moments. That is definitely, it is not on one person to stay that way, because we all are very fiery people and get going and get, escalated, and then we do a really good job of bringing each other down and saying like, Mary, you're good, and then the next play, Mary's like, Morgan, you're good, and it's just a back and forth relationship the whole time.
She said it best. That's really all we can do is like, there are 5 fiery people out. Like, our starters are all very like passionate about what we do. We really want to win, like that kind of stuff. So like, obviously basketball can be a frustrating game. So just being able to like calm each other down like while we're out there is like really important. And I think it really like helps us out.
Doug, was it Patton?
Do we have any questions here, Caitlin?
Do you have one?
Okay, so Mary, Morgan, y'all talked a lot about building connections with different people on your team. How do you feel that the connections y'all have built personally with each other have translated to how y'all play on the court?
I think that a big thing is that the connections aren't just superficial, they go deep. And we have like tough conversations with each other of like, I need more from you, and then responding to each other, and also just life conversations of like, I'm really struggling, I'm really stressed out right now, and then Mary's always like, I understand, I've got your back. type of conversations. So I really know that we care about each other as people, and whenever we're on the court, I'm going to have your back, but also whenever the game ends and whatever the outcome is, like, we're going to get on the bus and I'm also going to have your back. And we are a unit no matter what happens, no matter how we play. It's like all of us together.
Yeah, I think it really allows us to like have like hard conversations. Like, for example, like if I get upset with somebody at practice because I know they have more in them, like outside of practice, they're not going to be upset with me because they know that I care about them on the court and off the court, so we can have those difficult conversations and it's not going to be like taken personally or like anything like that. And I also think it allows us to like understand each other's like how people are different, like their feelings are different, like the way you should communicate with one person, like the way I can communicate with Morgan is different than I can communicate with somebody else on the team because we have that dynamic and we know each other. So it just allows us to like understand each other on a deeper level and like just like not get upset with each other. I don't know what else to say about it, but it really does help us out there on the court because it is stressful, like to be in a basketball game or to be in a situation, especially like at nationals, like that's like the big game, you know what I mean? Like, so just knowing that we have each other's backs is like really important to our team.
Coach, so you have spoken a lot about resilience, and I've heard your girls talk about building strong connections. What kind of culture do you want to build for your team?
This is it. I think they articulated it, I think, better than I ever could. It's just that you know and trust yourself, you know and trust your teammates so well that whatever we go through on the court, we can get through, and whatever we go through off the court, we can get through. I think that's a piece of it. It's certainly not everything, but if we look at, you know, I'm actually so proud, like hearing them say some of the things that they've been saying, because that is what we've been communicating about all year, is that, you know, in order to be successful on the court, you really have to make genuine connections with your teammates and be able to get the best out of them. They can get the best out of you, and we can understand that at the end of the day, like I said before, it is just a basketball game, and what's going to matter most are kind of those moments that we've had where maybe it was challenging and we had to push each other a little bit more, or where we experienced something really amazing together that we've been working towards, and we can celebrate that together. So I think that's the foundation and the cornerstone for everything that we do. Everything else is cherry on top, and so to be able to, I think, you know, hear them talk about that in a way that's, you know, better than I could even say, like, we're done this season. We're good. We're good. Everything else is icing on the cake. So
another one for you, Coach. I heard you talk about bringing out the best in one another. What is one strength that your team has on the court that you would like to see capitalized during this tournament?
I think sort of what we've been talking about is the ability to know what your teammates need and when they need it. Mary said it, basketball is stressful, and there's going to be things that go our way and things that don't go our way. And our ability to manage those moments, to not let, you know, one challenging play turn into a challenging 5 minutes, to be able to go to somebody and say, hey, we're okay, or, you know, if they need it phrased in a different way to them, then, you know, our ability to be able to do that and then pull ourselves out of whatever's going on. I think on the flip side of that, kind of the same side of that coin is our energy and our togetherness and our ability to take something really good and roll it into like a great next 5 minutes. And so I think that's a really big strength for us. I think something that's become a strength over the course of the year as well is our ability to adjust when we need to adjust. Things are going to change in a game. We'll have a game plan and a solid game plan, and we know that plan's going to change throughout the game. And so their ability to hear what we have to say, make the adjustment when we need to make it, and see it have its impact. I think we've done a much better job of being able to do that rather than just kind of staying with what we're doing and something not working. So I think those are our two strengths, our togetherness and our ability to be adaptable on court.
Perfect. So, Mary Morgan, a huge theme within this whole media time together has been management and balance. So how do you guys feel? I've always heard that being a student athlete makes you better on and off the court. What lessons have y'all learned on the court that just helps your life go on easier off of it?
Something big that I've learned is my impact on people, and how whenever something that we've talked a lot about is that I know that I have an influential voice, and I know that I'm a very strong personality, and I get very caught up in the moment, and sometimes I can forget how much I like set the tone for people in my life. And so being very conscious of that and making sure that I'm showing up how I want to show up in my life, regardless of what the circumstances are, is a big thing that I've learned from basketball.
Mine is just like being hardworking. Like you're out on the court every day. Like you have time management. Like we have 6 a.m. practices, like 6:30, 6 a.m. I don't know, early morning practices, really early mornings. And then we have to be like we're expected to go to class after that. So just having like time management and like knowing that you're gonna have practice, class, lift, and then you also have to get in some food and that kind of stuff. So just like overall like time management I think is really helpful for like going into your daily life, because like eventually we're gonna have like big kid jobs and like other things to do and not like basketball. So that's important like moving forward into the future.
Perfect. That's all I had.
Just one question. Coach, earlier you mentioned the excitement that comes for a program like CUNY that's first time here, and clearly for all of us, as we grow the women's sport, it's very exciting. On the flip side of that, however, I'm also excited about the programs that have set the standards historically, that have put themselves in a place on their own campus to where it's meaningful very broadly to the student body. So I'm interested to hear, in addition to putting a quality product on the floor, what else do programs like Illinois do that builds that type of campus culture that embraces disability sport?
Sure. Well, I think it's understanding that we bring value. Oftentimes I think we don't. We don't think that we bring value to a campus that, or we're not seeing that we bring value, that it's just disability sport, or we're always asking for people, come support us, or come support in this way. And I think I see it in the flip side. It's like, we bring diversity to your campus. We bring diversity in thought, diversity in educational opportunities. We bring students to your campus who normally have been told that they don't belong on college campuses. And so I think just first, purely from a diversity and inclusion perspective, we help fulfill the mission of the University of Illinois from that perspective, right? Because we talk about having a diverse campus and a diverse educational experience for everyone there. And so we are a part of that fabric, and we have been a part of that fabric since 1948. And so I think, one, that's a big piece for us, is continuing in that space to show that, one, we bring value and we belong, and our student athletes aren't there just because, they're disabled student athletes and they got brought to campus. They're smart and they're talented, and they're going to graduate from your university and go off and do really amazing things that you're going to be proud of once they graduate. And so, I don't know, I always think about it as a disservice if you do not want our student athletes on your campus, because, if you don't want student athletes like these two and the rest that you're going to see this weekend, then you're not fulfilling the mission of your university. And so I could go on about that for a while. I'll pause myself there, but it's just, for us at the University of Illinois, it's a part of our mission. It's who we are. It's ingrained in the fabric of our university. And so, and I think every other college campus here, or college that's represented here, is a part of building that. So for us, it's not just about athletics. Athletics is a big piece of it, but it's about all the other places on our campus where we have impact and influence, and where our student athletes are going to change the culture of our campus and have a significant impact on our campus.
Coach Wheeler, so obviously Illinois has had a rich history of adaptive athletics, and the women's wheelchair team has won, I believe, 14 championships. You've obviously had a lot of experience with Illinois. Illinois is your heart and soul. You also have a little bit of experience with Alabama. Your name's still on a plaque down in the offices. Yeah. I'm just wondering, kind of a two-part question, what would a championship mean for the program, and would it be extra special for you having it come in this building?
Oh, it would mean a lot. I think it would, I've yet to win a national championship as a head coach. So it would be very special. Obviously, from a basketball perspective, that's what we work for. I'm also going to go back and say, though, like this is going to make me cry. It's no more special or important than any other season that I've had as a head coach, though. Just because our student athletes are so amazing. And I know I keep saying that, but just the opportunity to coach them is far beyond anything we could do on court. So it would be wonderful and amazing. I think it would cap off sort of all of the hard work we've put in on court, again, it doesn't make it any more special than any other team that I've ever had the opportunity to coach, just because of, I think, who we are as a program. So amazing, and perspective, right? Perspective. If we end up doing it and doing it here, it would be super cool. It was really an honor to be able to come here to Alabama after I graduated. When I graduated Illinois, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I had the opportunity to come here and sort of, I think, make an imprint on a university that was just starting to understand the impact that disability sport could have. And to be a part of that history is amazing. And so to do that here would be pretty cool. Again, a championship would be really cool. To do it here would be really cool. At the end of the day, though, it's not in our control completely, right? And I think having that understanding and knowing that is an important piece. Yeah.
Thanks, Coach.
Last thing I'll ask to add on to Adam's question. So for both Morgan and Mary here, what would bringing a national championship back to Champaign, Illinois mean for you? So.
Mary, you want to go?
It'd be pretty cool, just like, well, I'm just going to say for my sister, she's a senior, like this year, she's done after this year, so that would be pretty cool for her, and as well as like one of our good friends, Allie, who's also from Utah, like they came from the same juniors program, so that would be really cool for them, and just as a team, like, we've worked so hard to like be where we are right now that it would just be like the cherry on top. I don't know, that'd make me cry, honestly, thinking about it, but it would be just really cool.
Yeah, it would be a very culminating experience of all of our hard work. Regardless, this weekend is going to be a culminating experience of all of our hard work, and I really just care that we play the best basketball that we're capable of playing and put it all out there on the floor this weekend, and whatever happens, happens. I would never deny a national championship. That would be pretty iconic, especially with it being Allie and Marley's last year. But I'm really excited just to play with them one last time and see how good we can be.
All right, well, we appreciate your time again, and best of luck to you all in the tournament.
Thank
Thank
you.
y'all.